started making names right away. And I loved it. I was robbing drug dealers and taking their gold right off their neck. And the shit we did, who's going to call the police on you? A drug dealer?
I can identify with anything that was normal, to be honest with you. But I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
99% of the time, you're going to disagree.
Just like the Donnie Brasco situation with Lefty.
Yeah, because the reason why, they figure it this way. You brought this guy around, he ratted on everybody, now he ratted on you. You might turn around and join him and rat on us, so we get rid of you, there's no connection between there and there, and they get rid of you.
Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Alain Oliver.
Olivier, like the actor Laurence Olivier.
Olivier.
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw your movie, Most Wanted. It's called Most Wanted in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the name is in Canada.
One for the rest of the world.
Yeah, it was pretty insane story, man.
Yeah. When you see the movie, I think pictures speak a lot for themselves when you see the inside prison in Thailand, as well as what Victor Malarek, the reporter, did to get me out of there at the time that you work for the Globe and Mail. And it was a pretty long story because altogether we had 3.5 hours of movies, and we had to cut over an hour 15 had to be cut because most distributor and theaters, they don't want to have long movies unless it's Iron Man or the Avengers or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got a picture from the Thai prison. I'm gonna bring it up, and these are the conditions that you were living in when you were there.
Yeah. This is it. That's how this is how we spend 16, 17 hours a day. It was like this for 8.5 years, and the first 42 months I wore chains. I had near 10 kilos of irons around my ankles for 42 months on top of that. And everyone who gets into prison over there, if they got caught with over 100 grams of heroin, they have to wear chains. And usually it's for 3 months. And myself, I did not agree with all the prison rules, and also the fact that some people tried to jump on me a few times. I had to defend myself. It made it that I ended up wearing chains for much longer than I should have. But in the end, I could keep my chin up and still stand to whatever they put on me for all those years. Foremost after my sentencing, when I ended up waiting for my appeal, and I was sent to the hole over there. It's 4 months. It's like 55 degrees.
What did they feed you?
Over there was only rice and vegetable, and the prison food wasn't good enough for consumption. The food they serve over there, it's like red rice with scale around it. It feels like feeds that you will use just to feed the cattle. It looks like cattle feeds. It's what it looks like, and it wasn't a thing to eat that. So we managed to have food being taken in by guards, and over the years we managed to open small shops inside the prison among foreigners to get at least some chickens and some pork, and vegetables were pretty easy to have over there. And also missionaries, Baptist missionaries from the United States used to visit foreign prisoners on a weekly basis, once or twice a week. And
so you had that to look forward to. When
myself, I didn't hang around much with the crowd of people who were asking things to all the preachers over there, to the Baptist missionaries, because it was conditional to make Bible studies and stuff like that. And myself, the day that they put chains on me, I understood that no, there's not a God in the universe that would allow people to be chained and shackled like I did. And
Yeah.
After I stopped believing in all that, I rather live with sense of spirituality and respect towards life. And every time I do a good action towards someone, if that person that makes her or him happy and make her smile, then it's fine with me. It's all I need to be happy. I'm not
Yeah.
looking for a redemption or anything. In my case, I've been through hell, and even the devil didn't want me over there and send me back. So
Yeah. When you were going to the boat in the beginning of the movie, right?
yeah,
What was the whole reason that you were in Thailand in the first place?
it
And,
all
and why were you at the boat? Why did you go there?
it all started when I came back from Kathmandu, February '87, and I was highly hooked on brown sugar. I was doing grams a day. And then when I got back to Gibson, I had few grams that I had taken back with me that I had swallowed. And I was introduced to that Glenn Barry guy that Jim Gaffigan plays in the movie. And that guy, without knowing him and without knowing it, happens to be an RCMP informer. I mean, he was an informant. He was actually a paid civil agent, which is a level higher than the normal informant. That guy was paid for each target that he presented to the RCMP, and he described me to the RCMP as the guy who was running all the SCAG on the West Coast. And when they ended up checking my last name and my birthday, a whole pile of criminal record came out, 11 convictions for weapons and drugs and violence and stuff.
It was for the other guy, Daniel.
Yeah. At that point, they asked Glenn Barry introduced me to two of his partners, who apparently had just gotten back from Colombia with a full container of cocaine in Vancouver. And Glenn Barry even had a picture, just like you say in the movie, when the picture is taken by the pool with Jim Gaffigan. But Glenn Barry, when he came back, he showed me a picture, and the guy that was next to him, he was telling me that guy was a drug lord in Colombia and so on, and just believed that they were in the big thing. And when he introduced me to his friend, what I didn't know is that he went on to tell them that I had brought back heroin from Thailand. It wasn't true. The little bit I brought back was from Kathmandu, Nepal, and he went on to tell them also that I had brought back like some 100 grams or something like that, which was totally false.
Yeah, so he just needed a target.
Yeah, but also he was a master fisherman. He just tended the bait to the RCMP. They were looking for a big fish.
Yeah.
And I ended up being their big fish. I was targeted as a 1A target, which is the highest level you can get in all criminals in Canada, and it's at the level of Pablo Escobar and all the big drug dealers.
And you didn't even have the money to go back there on the plane, right?
But look what happened. After I met them, they asked me if I could introduce them to a source of heroin in Thailand. And all I told them was that they could get SCAG from any tuk-tuk driver over there without any problem. And I told them that I had a job and I wasn't interested to go anywhere. And the week after, one of those two guys, Barry Bennett, who was played by Stephen McHattie in the movie.
One of those guys that you're talking about, is that one of the guys that got killed?
Yeah, but you'll see where it goes with this.
Yeah.
Because a week after I met these guys, Bennett came on a boat and took the boat for a couple of days. And when he came back, there were splatters of blood on the boat and empty casing of 9mm. And that was all to make me believe that they had killed someone on the boat. And when I presented the bullets, the empty casing to Glenn Barry, I showed it to him and I asked him, what the fuck is going on here, man? We're doing business. We had a charter business taking people out fishing. Yeah. He says, you already know too much. You better shut up and not say a word about this because the same thing will happen to you. And he says that you want it or not, you're part of it now. And he says, for now on, you will do what we're going to tell you to do, or you're going to suffer the same fate as the other guy who was on the boat with Bennett.
How old were you at this point?
27 years old, something like that, 28, yeah. Then I was only a junkie back then, and when I got back, I went through my cold turkey, and I decided that I would stop doing drugs. But after the murder scenario, it kind of freaked me out, and I ended up going to see the Candyman in Chinatown in Vancouver, and just started using as my in every opportunity that I had. And after that, they went on chasing me for 18 months across Canada.
Trying to find you to get you to go, right? Yeah.
They even found my family, and they called me over there during Christmas at one point, and they said that if I wasn't going to do what they were telling me, that they would go after my family as well. So after 18 months of chasing across the country, during which many threats were made to me, there was the murder scenario, and even another guy had been killed, according to Glenn Barry, who told me at some point that one of their colleagues that was introduced to me had been shot by Bennett again because the guy didn't follow the orders. So the accumulation of all this made it that I decided to follow them to Thailand. They paid for my plane ticket. They paid for my expenses. They paid for my dope over there because that was all their money. So every time I was doing drugs over there, these RCMP officers who were paying for it with taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah.
And at the time of the deal, they were supposed to do a deal with the sister of a tuk-tuk driver that I was sent to meet over there in Chiang Mai, and they were living in a slum. They were not big drug dealers or anything. They were
they were like small guy.
They were small guy. They were poor people. They were peasant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they were, and they were only trying to put some food on the table for their kids by selling a gram here and there to tourists. And at some point, the RCMP told me that they wanted to get 5 to 10 kilos, and they knew that I was a junkie, and they decided that they would give me a half kilo to 1 kilo of heroin as a reward to help them out connecting with that source of heroin.
Oh, so they said they would give you
that was
kilo and a half.
The
deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not the one who did ask them that. They're the one who offered me, knowing well that I was already hooked on heroin. It's not counting all the coke that I was doing at the same time. I mean, and then this is what we call entrapment.
Yes.
Inciting someone to do something in exchange for something else. And when, just like an alcoholic, you're going to give him a fucking bottle. He'll do whatever you want if he needs to have this bottle.